For the wrap? Yeah, okay. I'll just take that off.
Yeah.
And I want you to take one of the stickers and put it on yourself, okay? Going through the national park, and then we're going to be stopping at Anne of Green Gables. So, do you all know who Anne of Green Gables is? Yeah. This is Anne of Green Gables. So we're going to stop there, and we're going to be there for an hour, and then we're going to go for lunch, and then we're going to go and see the bridge, Confederation Bridge. Then we're going to Cowes for ice cream, and then we're going to make our way back to Charlottetown. Your on-board time is 6:30, so we have lots of time, okay? We do have a first aid kit on here. If you do need a bathroom, there is one in the back. Otherwise, you can wait until we get where we're going, okay? Okay. Can you see the building off to the right? Yes, I did. You missed it? Okay, my name is Crystal. Right. She's got it. Crystal. And you're Korean. And some are Chinese. Okay. Okay.
I know English only, but she say mandatory. Yeah.
No, sorry. Okay, so the brick building right there, way off to my right-hand side, that's the old train station that we had in Prince Edward Island, but we don't actually have trains here in Prince Edward Island. We just have a train station. This building right here on my right-hand side, it's the Aboriginal Cultural Center, Aboriginal, and Aboriginals were the first settlers on Prince Edward Island. Now as we turn, let me sit here. Scarecrows until October 22nd. So you'll see those on all of the lights in town. So we've got a buggy with horses, so it's going to be a little bit slower getting out of here. Our route today that we're going to take. So we are going from the North Shore, which is up here, all the way down to the South Shore. So you're actually seeing both sides of Prince Edward Island, okay? So I'll send that around and you can look at that and then pass it to the next person. So that is the route that we're taking today. Left, this whole area would be the experimental farms. So when you finish with that, could you pass it back so everybody could, it's for fancier things. So this would be the one on this side. So I'm going to pass it around so you'll be able to, so if you could look at that and then pass it back. This is the PEI flag. That's what this one is. So the lion is the heraldic lion, the coat of arms. The big tree that you see there should be like this. But that big tree is a red oak. Red oaks are also called lightning oaks because they're the first tree that would be hit by lightning because they are so tall. The three little saplings here, Prince Edward Island is divided into 3 different counties, Queen, Prince, and King's County, and that's what that. Okay, 1965, this is the Canadian flag. Red and white are our colors. There's no, the maple leaf has been a symbol of Canadians since the First World War, which is when they wore the maple leaf on their berets. So it's the same on the front as on the back, unlike most flags. So I'm going to send that around again. On the back is the explanation. That's the only reason. There's no. This is the Acadian flag. So when the French were here, this would be their flag. Now that flag is very similar to the flag of France. The only difference is the gold star, and that gold star would be Stella Maris, and that represents the Virgin Mary. Okay, so that would have been the patron saints of the Acadians, who would have been nations. The foxes that were worth a lot of money were that middle one, and that would be the silver fox. So a pair of breeding silver foxes would sell for $20,000. One pelt would sell for $2,000. Because we're going somewhere where there is a nest of the osprey, but the osprey is no longer there. So it comes in the spring and it stays until maybe September sometime. We do have eagles here, and our eagles stay with us all year. I took this picture outside my house because this is called the cartwheel display. That means that's a mating ritual for eagles. They lock talons is how they do it. So I'll give that to you. Oh no. I was looking at the bridge, not this one. I didn't realize they wouldn't stop it here. Okay. So if you see, do you see right in front of me? Way out in the water, those are oyster cages here. Way out. We'll be able to see them, I'm hoping. Will we be going by the bridge? Yeah, okay. Okay. So this is another animal that, or another bird that you will see here on Prince Edward Island. It's called the great blue heron. And it's still here. It will be leaving in the next couple of weeks. I'll do that. So our second industry here in Prince Edward Island is the aquaculture, and that is our fishing industry itself. Our number one is our lobster fishery. I saw Dory out here the other day. Where? Oh, okay, see the boat out there on the right-hand side? That's an oyster fisherman, okay? So I'll show you So he's fishing a wild oyster on the right-hand side. That's what he's doing. That's a wild oyster. So he uses something like 2 rakes, and he puts them together at the bottom of the bed and picks up the wild oyster. So, as I said, our number one aquaculture is our lobster. This you like lobster. This is our lobster season right now on one side of the island. We have 2 lobster seasons. One of them would be in the spring, and one of them would be in the fall, and that would be at this time. These would have been potato fields that have been harvested on my right-hand side. On what side? On the right? Okay. Am I missing it? I guess I missed that one. No, it's coming up. Okay. So you'll see on my right-hand side, we have a vegetable stand. So a lot of our farmers, we have 17% actually, that will sell on the side of the road. So he's selling potatoes and pumpkins and squash and a few other things. So these would be corn fields here on my right-hand side. Setting day is when the lobster fishermen, they put all of the traps on the boat to take out. so they can start catching lobster, okay? They can have between 250 and 300 traps per fisherman. So they go out and everybody in the community turns up for that, and everybody's yelling and screaming and singing, and everybody's quite happy. So he goes out with that load, he sets the traps out, and then he comes back and gets another load. Now you're going to see as we go through this intersection up here, the road, off to my right hand side you're going to see a roof that actually has the colors of the Acadian flag on it. Right off here to my right. And if you go down that road, you're actually going to hit the oldest house in Prince Edward Island, and that was built in 1768. That's the oldest one that we have here. So lobster, how do we keep the lobster? Because it's a very important aspect of the aquaculture industry. Lobsters must be a certain size if you catch them. So I'll send this around, and that's how you measure them. So when they take a trap up, they must measure every single lobster that comes up. And if it's shorter than that gray or that purple line right there, you must throw it back. If it's a female and if it's pregnant, you must also throw it back. If you keep it, you will be fine. So, not you personally, but unless you were out there doing that. I'll also send around, this is a picture of a lobster trap and how a lobster trap works. Just in case. We're going to show you a real one, but that's just in case here. So we're going, as we approach the bridge up here, off to my right-hand side, you're going to see oyster cages. That's what oysters, and can you see them out in the water there? That would be up to my right-hand side. Those would be oyster cages.
Oyster cages.
So they are in cages, and those cages must be turned once a week. First, you must cut it loose at that point. Each boat is given a couple of tags that they're allowed to catch every year. Otherwise, it is a catch and release. So we're coming into the town of North Westico, and we'll make our first stop that we can. I think you're just going to have to go by the wharf. Drive right through, and I can show them the osprey nest, and we could slow down, and then I can show them the lobster trap itself, and then we'll go through the park, but then it's to Green Gables. Yeah, so we that are flat. So these are lobster cages. So you can get sometimes up to 8 or 9 lobsters in that particular cage.
여기 랍스터 많이 잡는가?
There must have been some other buses coming up too. So we're going to be headed right now. We're headed to the national park. Prince Edward Island has one national park only. I don't think you can see the roundhouse, can you? Great. Okay. Because last time we had some trees there. Told me I had 5 minutes to live. Okay, so this is all national park in here. 5,000 acres. 1947 is when it was 1947. So that body of water that you see on my right-hand side, that is the Gulf of St. Lawrence. when the lobster season is going on, if you spot a right whale in that water, the lobster fisherman must take all of his gear out of the water because the right whale are protected here in Prince Edward Island. If your cruise ship has fittings on it and it's below the surface and the shifting sands or the tides themselves keep that grass polished, and when the sun is out you can actually see the shine of the grass itself. Fishermen have said when they're going over the spot where the Marco Polo went down, they can actually see the Marco Polo, parts of the Marco Polo. So Anne of Green Gables is fictional. She didn't really exist, but she certainly does in literature. So she was 11 years old when she came to Prince Edward Island. 11 years old. She was an orphan because her parents had both died. And she came over to help an elderly couple in Prince Edward Island in Avonlea. You see this is all damage from the hurricane, by the way. So she came over to help them with farm work. The only problem was they had asked for a little boy. They didn't ask for a little girl. And when Matthew, who would have been a brothering sister, Matthew and Marilla, when they arrived, he was quite surprised to find this 11-year-old girl sitting there. Now, the author of Anne of Green Gables, as we turn this corner, off to my left-hand side, you see the two green fir trees right there in the cemetery? Right here. That's where the author is both buried with her husband, L.M. Montgomery. That's her gravesite right there. So we'll tell you about that on the way out as well. So Anne started to live with Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert and became very close to them. And I think they looked upon her